My God. This video is long overdue. Come on. Where are my men? All my men, come forward. Come here. Come and sit down here. Now me and you today. No retreat, no surrender. Where are my odogus? My upcoming odogus. My odogus in the making. My odogus before. All odogus join. No. No racism, no discrimination in today's video. All my odogus, come forward. Odogu were doings. Odogu raised to power too. Even Odogu we don't get shishi. Join me. Today we're going to have a very deep conversation. Heart to heart, soul to soul, spirit to spirit. You guys know that I love my odogus. No. I do not joke with my men. See, there are so many men watching also. Hey, don't even be deceived. These men, they like a sherry. When you see them looking at their phone, you think they're looking at economy and political news. Na Nezeville them day. If you look at our analytics, so many men are watching us. So many men are coming on board in recent times. I love my men so much. In fact, when I meet my Nezevillians and my Peperempes outside, and they tell me it's my husband that introduced me to your channel, it's my husband, my head will just swell. I'll be very happy to know that our men are on ground. But my men, in today's video, we need to talk. But first, let me massage you. See, you know men are natural defenders. And many times when our advice, when our feedback is coming harsh, like an attack, men will naturally turn defensive. They block off, they are not listening. What you might be saying might be making sense, but because of your approach, because you have come in a harsh manner, that man has blocked off. He's not hearing you. You see, my dear, this is what I'm trying to teach you. Sometimes you don't know how to follow this, our men. Men are very easygoing people. You just need to know how to enter them, how to massage them. I beg you, consider one place, these women. All my odogus, come forward. You guys are too much. If them things say easy, make them run up. If it is easy, make you stand up, attention and peace. I beg you, DJ, play me better something for my Obonge manager, Ray. Daddy, come forward. Let us hail the man.
National Prime Minister, His Royal Highness, Igwe Doctor, Honorable Engineer, Pastor, His Excellency, Ambassador, Igwe Uwezuoke, Eze onye mepimu nke izizi, Africa tallest man, otu onye na-ekwomu olu a, osisi kankwụ, ọkwụrụ ọka, fine man without pimple, ọ natara dike mma nke mbụ, okwuru ọra, dike erigharịrị, otigbu.
Every generation of parents make parenting mistakes. We millennials and Gen Zs are making ours, and it is already telling on the quality of children that are being churned out now, and it will still tell in the future. Our parents did make theirs, loads of them, from over-trusting strangers with their children, leading to unchecked persistent sexual abuse, to maybe an overt use of force, overt use of corporal punishment as a form of discipline. But one of the absolute worst for me was their absolute neglect and failure to raise the male child. As a young girl growing up in my time, you were trained. You are taught to sit like a woman. You are taught to comport yourself in public. Look at the way you are behaving. Don't you know you are a woman? You are taught to be domestic and do chores. Oh, you tidy that place. Go and join your mother in the kitchen. Don't you know you're a woman? You are taught to watch the way you talk. See how you are talking anyhow. Is this how you are going to be talking in your husband's house? You are taught to be cautious about your appearance and take care of yourself. So when you're playing rough and you sustain an injury, you would hear words like, see how you are wounding yourself. Don't you know you are a woman? You're a woman, you're a woman, you're a woman. Your husband's house, your husband's house, your husband's house. A lot of effort were expended raising the girl child, preparing her for marriage. But who prepared the man? The man was taught, yes, he wasn't left alone altogether. He was taught one thing: make money. A typical African man was groomed to make money. And he will be told, you better go and make money or you better hustle. When you make money, lots of women would gather you. In fact, you'll be the one to be choosing the one you want. They will be running after you. That was all the skill needed for a man in preparation for marriage. So even if he's an ungrateful, rude, dirty, vile, soulless scum of the earth, he was raised to believe that as long as he has money, he's good to go. That was all he needs to be marriage ready. No skill, no counseling, no training, no character, no discipline. And now Obi is no longer a boy. Obi is now a man. And we have these men groomed like this, indoctrinated like this, raised like this in marriages. Emotional availability, 0. Accountability, 0. Contribution in household activities and running, 0. Discipline, 0. Entitlement, 100. Demands, 101. It didn't just start with the marriage. It stems from deeper roots. It starts from the foundation. It starts from family orientation. I am looking around marriages today and my heart breaks. I am so disturbed. I am very sad. Not just the news that I'm privy to getting exposed to every day by virtue of my job. Not just the comments that I am subjected to reading every day from men by reason of having this platform, but also the kinds of messages I get. Women crying, suffering in their marriages. News of this woman has been beaten up to death by her husband. This woman has been burnt by her boyfriend. This woman has just been raped by this man. This girl has just been used for rituals by her boyfriend. I do not even know if I prepared myself for the mental task of absorbing all of this real life negative news, sad real life stories of people, because I do not have that orientation of marriage. That was not what I saw when I was growing up. Guys, believe me when I tell you that women are really suffering in this thing called marriage in Africa. Some of you might say, oh Neze, please, it's not only women that are suffering. Men are also suffering. And I agree. Because I always tell you guys, do not quote me on exceptions. Nothing, absolutely nothing is absolute. There are good men that go through tribulations in the hands of bad women. And sometimes I sit down and I wish to myself that these bad men that maltreat their wives can also meet women like this. Let them, in fact, all these bad men and bad women, let them meet in a field and marry themselves. Let them popo themselves. But no, it is always the good man that ends up with these kinds of women. And it's mostly the good women that ends up with these kinds of men. But as I said, I will not spend time discussing exceptions. If I put 20 balls in a basket and 18 of them are red, while 2 are blue, there is a chance that if I dip my hand in that basket, I will pick a blue ball. But what are the chances? What are the possibilities? What is the ratio of occurrence? If we choose to be honest with ourselves for once and tell ourselves the truth, you would agree that more women are going through hell in marriages than more men. You would agree that more women are losing their lives in the hands of their partners than men. You will consent to the fact that more women are subject to abuse, both sexual, physical, mental, emotional, and psychological abuse in their relationships than men. That is not to say that there are no rare occasional occurrences on the part of the men. And we need to talk. Love it or hate it, my odogus, we need to talk. This is not an attack. We need to rub minds. Flagrant disrespect, open infidelity, domestic violence, emotional and mental abuse, name it. Some of my odogus are very prepared. Oh, they love these kinds of topics because they already have their excuses scripted at the back of their palm. They would say, Neze, check them now. It is these women of these days that are causing it all. Men have always been men, right from time immemorial. But it is these women that have refused to be like our mothers. Check the marriages of those days now, lasting 40 years, 50 years, 60 years. No wahala. But see now, so divorce. And I will say, Oga, calm down. Ogbeni, farabale. The truth is that many of our fathers were just meal tickets, poverty alleviation programs for our mothers. And that's on 100. Many of our mothers stayed put in that facade called marriage. Just make this idiot help me train my children. This yeye man, make this mumu man, make this eshu, make this ekwensu for help me just train my children. That was the only motivation. Many mummies remained in those marriages you are referencing, not because a marriage in the proper sense of the word existed, but so you and I can go to school. If those mummies were as educated, enlightened, exposed, financially independent as many women are today, many of those marriages you are referencing would not have stood, my dear brother. Our mummies suffered, and deep down, many of them despise our daddies. Forget wearing a shoke, matching a shoke, and walking up to church, 50 years marriage celebration. Deep down, many of them are dealing with trauma. They are traumatized. You as a man, you are seeing it as, my parents have been married for 50 years. But we as the women, you know that these mommies would tell their daughters some things that they will not tell their sons. Many of them are mental health cases. It's just that back then, mental health was not a thing then. They didn't used to consider all those mental health. Many of them need therapy. And that's why sometimes you see back then growing up, any small mistake that a child makes, a simple mistake that even you as the adult can make, you see our mothers, unbridled anger, bam, 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 frustration, taking it out on the children. Many of them had been driven to the brink of insanity because of those marriages that you are referencing. Always angry, always beaten. They were scarred, they were traumatized. They had no exit routes. They had no opportunities. Stop referencing long, miserable marriages as an ideal. We should be talking about quality of marriage, not quantity of a miserable amount of time. And that's why when these women go for omugwo, many of them that have experienced those kind of torturing marriages that you are referencing, they don't want to go back. They will abandon that your father. But if you see a woman that truly enjoyed her marriage, 2 weeks, she's running away from her daughter's house. Is it that we begin, Mommy, you just came now, help me. She's running back to her darling. I want to go back to your father. I want to go and take care of your father. But those ones that have endured torture that you are referencing 40 years, when they go 1 year, they never finish a mugwo. They don't want to go back to that devil. Little wonder, we have men crying. I want a woman like my mother. I want a woman like my mother. Give me a woman like my mother. But the ladies are crying and praying not to marry a man like their father. Only a handful of women choose and pray on their knees that God, give me a man like my father. What does that tell you? We're getting there. The truth is that it has not always been our tradition to be abusive to women. Africans have not been known to maltreat or subjugate their wives. During pre-colonial times, pre-Western religion, women were valued, women were respected, women occupied positions of what? In Eastern Nigeria, for example, women formed part of the Igwe Council. The Igwe cabinet, yes, was consisted of both women and men. Women got married. Yes, a woman can go and get married as a man and bring in a woman into her family that would bear children and bear that name that she wants to preserve. Women were chiefs. They were taking titles. I'm not saying now that you say, Lolo, chief's wife. No. Women themselves were chiefs, capable of holding titles. The Umuada were just as powerful as the Umunas. In fact, if not more powerful than the Umunas. Women had what? But there came the West with their religion and their civilization and told us no, women should not talk. Women should not head a church. Women cannot vote. Women cannot hold titles. Women cannot be kings. And gradually but surely, women began getting relegated to the back burner. But these same Oyibos that came with these concepts and taught us this religion that we are referencing now have realized, they came to the realization that a country can only rise to the level at which it places its women. Wives, daughters, sisters, mothers. The quality of these people will eventually be the quality of the people that are turned out in the society, because the molding and the foundation of these members of society are done by these women. So they understood that stomping on their feet and suppressing them is not in the best interest of any society. So they started righting their wrongs. They started making amends. They started caring for, fending for, and protecting their women. But we, that they thought, our own oppression has now become the worst. It's just like anything that they teach us in Nigeria, in Africa, we take it over and we make it worse. This scamming now, this 419 that some people are champions of doing, it was learned from the Obodo Igbo. Even kidnapping, we didn't know what kidnapping was in Africa. We learned it from the West, but now we are champions. We now do more than them because wickedness is sweet and convenient when you're not the one receiving it. So we have refused to change. We have refused to make amends like our teachers. Why can't you, as a man, join hands with your wife to make your marriage pleasant, to make it a great experience, to make it worthwhile? Who told you that it is only your wife's responsibility to do that? Who told you that it is only your wife that should ensure that the marriage exists, the marriage stands, while you want to be married, but exhibiting all the traits of a single man? You want to be married, enjoying the benefits of a marriage, but living the lifestyle of a single man. You want to eat your cake and have it. You want to have your bread. You want to have your bread buttered on both sides. Simply because there are no consequences for bad behavior. If you know that you stand something to suffer or to lose by behaving in certain ways, then behavior is checked by consequences. It is very normal. In every endeavor, in every establishment, behavior is checked by consequence management. Where there are no consequence managements, then anybody can be an animal. Why do you show up at the office by 8? If you come to the office by 10 o'clock and there are no penalties for it, everybody will come in by 11 and still get paid. But because you know that there are consequences, there are penalties for certain behaviors, so that animalistic part of you, you suppress it and you introduce discipline. But because in marriages in Africa, you know that if you misbehave, the woman goes. If she misbehaves, she goes. You know that there is no punishment for behavior, and so you act lackadaisically. If you're in a society where you can be jailed, you can lose your properties, you can lose your job, you can lose your children, you can lose your home. I'm not saying that there will not still be bad behavior, but at least you will think twice. You will weigh the odds before you behave. But when you are in a place that anything goes, of course people are bound to act irrationally. If them talk, you go say wise women build their homes. What do wise men do? Wise men destroy their homes? Ungwano, if you don't want to join to build the home, why don't you at least stay neutral? Why would you be doing everything in your power to destroy what another person is trying to build? Marriage is not master and servant relationship. Marriage is a beautiful partnership. It doesn't make you less the head of that partnership. In every partnership, there is always the head partner and the lower partner. Even in law firms, you hear phrases like senior partner. He's a senior partner, she's a junior partner, but it's still a partnership. Everybody's combined effort is put in. Even in office projects, in school projects, there are the lead partners and there are the docile partners. There is no project involving 2 or more people where the whole responsibilities of making that project work rests on the shoulders of one person and the other one is free to frolic and stray away without any contribution. Such a project cannot work. Even if it works, that person who bears all the burden will constantly be feeling sad and abused. It takes 2. You cannot be doing everything in your power to destroy that home. Then when it fails, you open your mouth. I don't want to call it dirty mouth, but I can smell it from afar and say the woman could not keep her home. Sometimes I read comments and I'm like, I've been posting some of them on my community because I cannot afford to stomach it alone. So go to my community tab and see some of them and I wonder, who raised these men? You see them constantly using Chioma. Oh, Chioma David. See Chioma Davido. She stood by him when he had 10 children from other women. Where can't women be like Chioma Davido? Any person who exemplifies a woman being tormented or cheated or disgraced or humiliated, that is the ideal example for many of these men. They do not set examples of other men who stay true to their vows, who have discipline. No, they do not use those ones as an example. They only use the example of women who are subject to humiliation. That is their model. And then you hear them say, all men are the same. All men cheat. Uncle, all men are not like you. All men do not lack discipline. All men do not conform to sexual recklessness. You know, when you are something, you get this consolation when you convince yourself that other people, it's not only you. So you deceive yourself. If I'm a nag and my husband is complaining, you nag a lot. Instead of me to change my ways, the easier way out is to tell him that is how other women are. All women nag. All women are like this. So that is a cheap excuse not to take accountability for your inadequacies. You say all people, everybody's like that. It's just like when you fail an examination and you're feeling bad and you go to the board where the exam was pasted and you see that almost everybody had F. You start, you'll be happy. You'll be consoled. It's not only me. Everybody had F. Instead of you to look up to the people that are having A and strive to have an A, you relax and console yourself in the fact that you are not the only one that had F.